Hello and welcome to second round coverage of OGFC's Ulti Pot tournament. Today we have ShiningBlue-eyes, aka SPE, who is playing Goat Control, and then we have Cefca, aka Zero, who is playing Gravekeepers. So, without any further ado, let's begin. So I guess just to provide some background knowledge about both players. So both players have been in the GOAT community for quite a long time. I think SPE a lot longer than Cefca has. SPE has been known for playing a slightly more teched up version of GOAT Control with main deck Gravekeeper Spy and Gravekeeper's Guard, alongside stuff like Lightning Vortex and some other things here and there, and some interesting ratios that deviate from the standard list a bit. While Cefca has been playing Gravekeepers, and I'm not actually personally too sure about how long he's been playing Gravekeepers, but I would like to say that he's at least experienced with the deck, and he's played it for a good chunk of time now, so this should be a very good match. So SPE starts up with the T set. Cefca immediately goes with the terraforming. Terraforming for Necro Valley, which is to be expected. Necro Valley comes down. And a Gravekeeper Spear Soldier is summoned. This Spear Soldier is going to pierce into the GK Spy. Cefca takes 500 points of damage because they're both Gravekeeper's monsters, and Necro Valley affects both sides of the field. And SP is going to summon out another Spy. So SP remarks that he thinks it's a mirror. It's clearly not a mirror, and I'm pretty sure that Cefca knows this as well, because I think he's pretty familiar with SPE as a player. And he should know that it's actually not a GK mirror, but we'll see what his line of thinking entails. So there's a Tsukiyomi targeting... Okay. So the Tsukiyomi targets a Spear Soldier. This makes sense. This makes sense to me. So SP is going to attempt to punch over the Spear Soldier with his Gravekeeper Spy. And Cefca is going to let it go through. Okay. So this suit's going to poke for 11. And that goes through. SP is going to set another back row and then pass his turn. So if I'm SPE here, I'm pretty happy. Like, my Spy prevented the Spear Soldier from doing anything, and then I managed to plus with the Tsukiyomi. Given how many back row Cefca is setting, SPE might read that this is a jar. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Yeah. And Cefca does play Morphing Jar. So SPE is going to put the Spy down. I'm assuming he's going to flip summon it, so long as Cefca doesn't have a response. And the Spy is going to summon a Guard, which should be SP's last target in his deck. Yep. So if I'm SPE, right, I'm either reading that it's a jar or it's another, or it's a Spy. But he does go for the jar read. Because set 3 does seem very interesting, but it ends up being a Spy instead. So SP takes 800, and the Spy is going to get Cefca any GK monster from his deck. Let's see which one he gets here. Goes for a guard. So it looks like Cefca's walling up a bit because he can't really seem to deal with SB's Gravekeepers, and it looks like SB can't really deal with Cefca's either. So they're kind of just at a stalemate. This is really interesting. And it's going to be quite cool to see just how both players decide to play out of this. So Cefca's gonna switch his spy to attack and crash into SBE's spy. This goes through. That's kind of interesting to me. I don't know if that simplification would help him in the long run, but I guess... yeah, I'm not really sure about that. But that's the play he chose to make. So Cefca's gonna use a Solemn Judgment on the Tsukiyomi. Dropping himself down at 32, but the tempo shift that might occur from this might be really huge. Because if that is indeed, I think, Cefca's third spy, no, second spy, then this is going to be pretty nice for him. How did he set a monster? I need to intervene here, hold on. Yeah, that's what I thought. That seemed a little fishy to me. And I was like, huh? It's all good. They're gonna rewind the game, so that's why I'm here. I'm just gonna resolve this really quick. Alright, so my policy with most of the tournaments that I run online is that if the penalty is caught like near immediately, then I usually don't penalize them. I usually only penalize people for PE minors if they do an illegal play and like the game stays broken, or like it stays broken for like the rest of the game because neither player notices. If it's caught immediately like this, I usually am pretty relaxed about it. I think in most Konami sanctioned events they're going to give a PE minor for that, but I generally choose not to, under my own discretion. So I don't think either of them are going to get a penalty for this. But anyways, back to the game. So I don't really know what this monster is here. I think this could be a lot of things. Could be a jar, could be... Actually, I don't really know what that could be. Could be DD Assailant, actually. That would not surprise me either. So it looks like Cefca just pot greeted set 2 and passed. So this game is becoming pretty drawn out now. I don't think that really favors the Gravekeeper player at all. SP is gonna have MST into the 4 back rows. I think he just didn't want his play to be solemned after he topped up the Souk, which is fair. Goes from LV. Wow. Okay, so this LV's gonna pop the guard. Hitting that my body then was actually kind of huge for him. And this is going to punch for lethal, I guess, because SB saw the game shot. Oh wow. There's a Sakuretsu armor though. There's a ring changed to the Saku targeting the Souk. There's a Solemn. So Cefca's still in the game, but that's pretty dicey for him. Having said that though, looks like SB is now out of Tsukiyomi's, and I think Cefca's gonna pick up on that. Because most Go Control, including SB's list, only plays 2 Tsukiyomi. So this guard is basically not going to be able to bounce a threat unless SB has Book of Moon. In which case, if he does have Book of Moon, then you can just threaten lethal next turn. And the simplification he did the turn prior would actually help him. So it ends up actually not being... Oh, actually, it probably was the Assailant, because it got bounced to his hand. There's a breaker. Breaker's gonna pop the middle set, which ends up being a Saku. I think if you're Cefca, you're pretty happy about that. Attacks over the guard. SB takes 100. And now things all of a sudden look pretty dicey for SBE. I'm pretty sure he was up on cards like just a few turns ago, and now he's down on cards. Or they're about even. They're actually exactly even because they both have 5 cards. There's an Azura Priest though. This is pretty huge. This Azura Priest is going to punch over the breaker most likely. I don't think Cefca has another battle trap. Yeah, he doesn't. Because he would have saved the Solemn and he would have just Saku'd again on attack with Declaration of the Souk from last turn. So Cefca draws a 3 in hand. Sets 1. And passes. So SB is gonna goat here. I'm not really sure why unless he TTs here. Oh wow. SB is indeed going to TT here. That's actually huge because now he just wins, assuming the last backer was dead. He's just going to normal the Serpent and pass. He doesn't even have to risk the Azure Priest if he doesn't want to. Oh, he's going to Grace first though. So if I'm SBE here, I'm pretty elated because if this draws me like MST for what the last backer was. Well, actually, no, you can't MST. If he draws like Heavy though, that's just amazing. Pitches both monsters away though, huh? Oh, okay, he has Heavy Storm. So he did draw in a Heavy Storm, that's pretty nice. And you gotta think like the last monster is the last 2 cards in his hand is like some monster, right? Okay, yeah, there's the Tribe. And Cefca's gonna scoop it up. Good stuff to SBE. For a brief second in game 1, it looked like he was kind of out of it when they were on like equal cards in hand, but that Grace ended up fixing and allowing SB to sculpt his hand in such a way that he was able to win the game. I think the Solemn was also very huge at the same time because the Solemn was what paid Cefca down enough to the point where he was only at 32, and then the few threats that SB did have allowed him to push for that 32 to end the game pretty quickly from there. So let's look at what they could possibly side. If I'm SB, I think the Mobiuses definitely come in, as do the Mystic Swordsman and the Krees. I doubt Jowgen, Wabaku, and Anti-Spell are coming in. So I think it's just going to be those 7, and I think... I'm not really sure what he would take out, honestly. Maybe the Air Knight, the Azure Priest, and... maybe something else we'll have to see. It's also interesting to note that SB doesn't play Dust Tornado. So that's very, very interesting. He pretty much drew his only 2 forms of spell-based spell and trap removal in that game. Within the first top 20 cards as well. So I think from Cefca's side as well, I don't think he has to side a whole lot. Maybe he might side Mobius in if he expects the Kree, but I think beyond that, I think he's fine. I don't think this matchup is one that he has to side extensively for. I think most of the side deck is going to come from SBE's part. It's also interesting to note that SBE has also ditched legendary Jujutsu Masters that used to be in his deck. So that's quite interesting to me. Looks like they're ready to go for game 2 though. That's a misclick. Poor Cefca, man. I think SB is honorable enough to play like he knows it's not like to play like he doesn't know what that is though. We'll see. That's the thing, one of the few downsides to Dueling Book, like I think misclicks just kind of give away a lot of information, and it's quite easy for duelists to take advantage of that. But having said that, like you can also just flip over a card accidentally in real life and like be like, oh well, now I just gave my opponent information that I didn't want to give them. SP knows someone's DD worthy. Cefca books immediately, which makes me think he has Nobleman, a crossout, or Mystic Swordsman. I actually didn't realize this would come in because we did see that SBE played GK Spy and GK Guard. So I think this was smart on Cefca's part as well. I overlooked that when I was skimming through his deck list. So it looks like SBE actually kept the Azure in. And the Azure is going to punch over the Mystic Swordsman, or it was going to until it got met with Compulsory Evacuation Device. Cefca draws to 4. There's a Rhoda. Did he side into like a mini warrior toolbox? Or did he main it already? Oh, he actually mained like a small warrior toolbox. That's why we saw the Assailant. So Cefca actually mains 1 DD Assailant, 1 DD Warrior Lady, and 1 Exiled Force. And I guess like that toolbox just gets amplified with the inclusion of the Mystic Swordsman. He's gonna switch a monster here. I believe he's probably gonna normal summon it. So he goes for the Assailant. This does give him the most damage output though, so this is going to drop SPE down to 5,400, I believe. Yeah. Yep. And it looks like Cefca's in a pretty good position because SPE can't really set any monsters until he deals with the Mystic Swordsman, and we know he has the Azure Priest, but that gets met very quickly with the Solemn Judgment. And SPE is just forced to pass. It looks like SPE is pretty monster clogged, just given by how he's not setting any back row. Maybe his hand is full of like tribute monsters or just things that he can't set because the swordsman will just punch over them and he doesn't have a battle trap to deal with them. SPE normal summons his own swordsman though. I believe he's going to attack it into the set monster. Ends up popping the guard, which is pretty nice. And he's gonna have to back this up with like some real trap. Oh, okay. A lightning vortex. Oh, but a spell shield. Okay, no, you can't do that. Alright, I gotta find a ruling for Cefca here. Let me just check the part that says... Okay, cool. So I think SPE is also pulling it up. Yeah, this is an errata that I'm actually very confident in because I had to correct multiple people on my own locals actually about this. But I think basically what happened was like, I think when UD was originally printing cards, they weren't very careful with like the finer details. So stuff like Spell Shield type 8 says, it originally said send one card, but it was supposed to say send one spell card the entire time. Another example would be Bazoo the Soul Eater, which originally stated banish three cards, but it was later errated. I think it was always supposed to be this. It was actually always meant to say banish 3 monsters, not just 3 cards. So some people will think that you can banish 3 cards to feel Bazoo's effect, when in reality you can't, and you never should have been able to. I'm glad we were able to clear that up. So this game is back under control. SP's going to MST the new set, which is Compulse. Now you wonder if he's playing the MST that aggressively, if he has some sort of like game shot. I think, given his graveyard, he just might. Something like guard bounce. Well, actually, I don't know. Oh wow, he has a Suki lock. That's pretty good. So he's gonna drop it down to 29. He's gonna be down the summon until he manages to deal with this. Most likely with the Nobleman across out. Because Cefca only plays one Mystic Swordsman, and he's burned through it already. A Solemn on the flip summon could also be very, very probable. This does not get Solemn though. Is there a Torrential here? Oh, actually, Cefca doesn't play Torrential at all. So this ends up going through. There's a Mirror Force though, so that'll stop some of the bleeding. At least for now. Cefca sets another monster and passes. He really needs this monster to go through, doesn't he? Like whatever flip effect that would be. So that's probably like a Spy, I think, at this point. I'm thinking it's a Spy anyways. There's a Breaker. Oh, wow. So Breaker's gonna pop the Spell Shield. Spy's gonna bounce a monster. Does SB have the Prem or the Ring to steal it? And he doesn't look like he does. He might have Ring, but he doesn't have Prem for sure. The set goes down to 300. And I think now is the time we see if SB has some way to deal with this. Maybe the second Swordsman or a Nobleman across out or something. There's a Pot of Greed. So I think if I'm SB, I think the chance of me seeing one of my two Noblemans or the second Swordsman is pretty high. What's this? Air Knight. Wow. Okay. Metamorphosis. Is he gonna BLS him? Reaper. Oh no! Wow. Wow. I think that was the first time I think I've ever seen Reaper used to end the game. Wow. Expertly played by SBE. These are some really good feature matches, guys. Yeah, so that's the feature match for round 2. Stay tuned for more coverage of OGFC's Ulti Pot tournament, and we'll see you in the next round. Peace.